Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show panel discussion Cards Against Reality. So, I am monitoring the show over here, and I don't think I have anybody in yet. It says I got three, so I'll need a sound check. Sound check, everybody. Tell me how I sound. Links to the show have been emailed out. Check your email, and if you show up, I will add you in. Links to the show. Okay. That wasn't an echo. That was me actually talking. So there's a lag between here, me recording it, and it being shown. So, all right, Raven, check your email. I sent a link in email. That's all I got right now. Thank you, Raven. Good deal. Sound is good. Excellent. Raven, I was on your show earlier, so that was we spiraled all the way up. We went everywhere with it. And it was an excellent show, and your buddy Jay liked it too. Can't wait for it to be broadcast. It's pre-recorded, so Raven can fill us in on the details of when and how to listen, and I will leave links. I will leave a link. So, yeah. Well, talked about the kinds of secrets that they're hiding behind these NDAs and the kind of tactics that they use to stir up communities and keep us productive as cash cows in the first hour. Talked a little bit about Lou, Lou Elizondo, and what his job was and what his job is. So, yeah, I'm going to be putting that in the thumbnail in the description. So I'll come up on Google searches. Bring on haters. Bring on all the haters. Give me some views. Hit thumbs up. Hit thumbs down. Whatever you want to do. Go ahead. Just push a button. And we'll see what happens from there, right? So, went with Lou Elizondo as a disinformation agent, and he went out to ufology and caused havoc. That's all he did was break up the groups. And oh, Lynn, I didn't have an email for you to be able to send a link. Um, Let me see what I can do here. I'm going to try to send a link right now. Um, Hold up. I do not have an email for you. I don't have any way to send you an email, but you know what? I'll put it in the chat room right now. Hold on, it's just a long way to get to the barn here. Let me see. I don't have that email, but that's okay. I've got the link copied. I'm going to put it in here right now. This is for Lynn. I'm watching. Okay. What? Okay. Link is in the chat. That is for. Yeah. Richie is on the other line. He's on another channel. I hope you can keep up with it too. So, yeah, I don't have an email for you, Lynn, but there's your link. It's in the chat room. Yeah, Raven, send it to her if you can. I can't get on Facebook Messenger right now. Okay, Shadow's saying he'll be here in a little while. Cool. And yeah, Raven will be here soon. Somebody's here. Shadow!
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Pretty good. It's been a heck of a week.
Yeah, it's been a week. Definitely, no arguments there.
But
I
I
was trying to
am.
catch up on your previous video, but then I saw you were already live. I'm like, hey, you know what? My show ended uh, right on time, so to speak. So I might as well hang out with you guys.
Okay.
Uh, not burnt out, with the other stuff. But sorry about that. It's just ready to talk about other stuff. How's that?
I got you. I
Folks?
got you. Totally got
Hopefully,
you.
hopefully a bunch of the those guys are going to come over here and hang out with us tonight. I see a lot of friendly names in the chat there. Thanks
Yeah,
for
we got a
showing up
bunch of people.
earlier this week, Raven. That was you should have put your info in the chat. I guarantee you would have made a lot of new friends. Next time you do so, just I'll just have to make you a mod and let you do that. Am I
What's
popping and
up?
crackling? How about snapping?
There is a little
Raven,
bit of distortion, but not so bad.
okay. I hit
Frank
the
is
setting
in.
buttons.
Yep,
Long
I
time no
am.
see, Frank.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, that popping and crackling, that's going to be the compression of the sound file going across the interwebs. So we can deal with it.
Yeah, I still can't get my brand new laptop, God, to actually work. It does everything but live streaming. I got it specifically for that, and I still can't do a darn thing with it. It just
Well, let me ask you, what operating system is it?
I don't know. I'm just doing the same things. It's weird because when I first got it, I could do it. I could do StreamYard just fine. And then something happened, and my camera would just stop, or the audio would stop, or I'd freeze up, and we can't have that.
Right.
So I'm still using the $200 tablet, and I would have brought it in today, but things got a little hectic around the Shadow household, and we had to do some stuff. So I couldn't bring it in, and I've only got Saturdays in which to do it. So freaking busy these days. I've got so many things on the back burner that I need to get going. But I wanted to address something. What's up with our Keith? I haven't actually been able to see him much the last week, and I really, really miss watching his show. Is he having technical issues or something?
No, he has his family stuff to deal with. And I don't know, I give him a lot of leeway. He was on yesterday, and I saw him yesterday. So he's still doing his shows. He's just not. I sent him an link in email also. So hopefully he'll get that and he'll come on over. I would like for him to come over. And
Absolutely.
he's great to have. I love our Keith, y'all. Okay. Our Keith is just like me, and our Keith, like me and Rich, right? And how quickly we're becoming, me, you and Shadow, me and you, Shadow, how we're quickly becoming that as well. And
Right.
it's like, it's so weird that these friendships have formed, and I've never met anybody but Rich, and I just met him on Saturday, which was, it's
we'll
just,
get there one of these days. One of these
yeah,
days,
it's just like, oh my. Yeah, one of these days.
Today is, who else's birthday is today? I actually did a show. The show I did earlier today, some of you might recognize the name of Roger Zelazny. He's a famous sci-fi writer who I had the pleasure of not only meeting but becoming good friends with many, many years ago. And unfortunately, he passed away at the ripe young age of 58. And today was his birthday. And so I did a show more or less dedicated to him and his favorite topic. And the weird thing is, today's the 13th of March, or of May, excuse me, and he passed away on the 14th of June. There's got to be some sort of numerological significance to that. I thought he was a great guy, and so for the next 30 days, I'm going to be doing a bunch of topics, related to him. But that's interesting that our Keith's birthday is the same day. That's for me. That's a weird quantum thing. I couldn't help but notice that. And our Keith, if you're listening, happy birthday and many, many, many more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shadow,
happy birthday to
actually,
Arkeith.
I met Roger Zelazny also back when I was in college. I was the president
What
of
a
the
guy,
science
huh?
fiction club. Yeah, in
What a
fact,
guy, right?
I'm in Las Cruces, New Mexico. He was living up in Santa Fe. He
Right,
actually
that's
flew his
correct.
own plane. He flew his own plane down
Yes.
to Las Cruces to come
Mhm.
down and talk to our club. And yeah, he was just
He was
amazing.
absolute Renaissance man. We have so many things to thank him for, and one of these days we'll see the Nine Princes on the big screen. Just hopefully not without hopefully without Stephen Colbert touching 1 second of it. I just I don't like that guy. I used to, but something happened to him and he went off the deep end. And the more I dug into that particular individual, the less I liked him. And I respect that he wants to do something with it because someone should have. Besides the comic books, it was just a phenomenal story, and he was just an amazing guy, a writer, a poet, a pilot, a fencer, a martial artist, and like most of us here on the show, a smoker. So there's that.
Yeah, we had a really good conversation with him way back when that he hadn't done, he was just starting the second Chronicles of Amber, the follow-ups, the Trumps of Doom and that sort of thing. And
Was it in
we were,
the early 80s?
yeah, yeah,
That
it
was
was.
probably the same tour that I originally met him. I met him at my game store where I was working at the ripe old age of 14. And, I was smart when I worked there. And I made sure that I just, spent the entire time he was there, all the way until he got into his cab to leave. And he was kind enough to stay in touch, the old fashioned way. And unfortunately, I don't have any of his correspondence. But he saw something in the 14-year-old me that was he could have just been the typical star. Sorry, kid.
And Frozen.
Yeah. Lost your sound, Shadow?
Lost his motion too.
Yeah. Yeah. Shadow, you're locked up. You're frozen. Oh, well. Well, he'll be back.
I'll be back.
And while we're waiting for him to catch up to the quantumness of the rest of us, Frank, what have you been up to this week? I haven't talked to you in all week.
Well, I was very lucky this week. I have a very good friend of mine from high school. Haven't seen him in 30-something years. And he had some business here in the area. So he came in, and last Monday morning, I'm sitting outside having my morning smoke. And he pulls up into my across the street and walks up my driveway. Didn't recognize him until he turned and I could see his full face. And I was like, oh my God. So basically, I've spent most of this week running all over the place, hanging around, having a good time with him. Like I said, I haven't seen him for 30 plus years.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm glad you had a good time with
very
him.
exhausting.
I can imagine. Whenever I run into...
I socialized more this week than I have in the past 25 years.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Whenever I run across somebody from the past, I end up hanging out with them for a while, like all day long, couple days maybe. And yeah, I know how that is. It's all good. I mean, I'm glad you had a good time. My roommate, one of my roommates, he was a Marine. Well, is a Marine. Was serving in the 80s, and he ran across a guy totally randomly that was on the same beachhead as him. They were in the same AO, so to speak, and they had a really good time. So he's made a friend, and I haven't run across any military buddies, but hell, I got YouTube and all of you guys.
What's really funny is my friend who showed up. He's actually a former Marine, but he worked on aircraft, so he was stationed on a Navy carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Good man.
Oh yeah, I work with a bunch of former military aircraft people, and they got some stories. They got some cool stories.
Well, he wasn't able to talk to me too much about what he's doing, but he's an engineer contractor.
Yeah.
To the Space Force.
Oh boy, yeah. Talk about. Oh, you're on the right show tonight. NDAs against reality.
He couldn't tell me anything about what he's doing, and I didn't press him about it because I didn't want him to get in trouble.
Well, is he an engineer, like a mechanical engineer, or what's his general field of study? Aeronautical engineer. Okay.
Yeah, he has a doctorate.
Yeah. Ramjets. What? Sorry?
He has a doctorate.
Suborbital. Oh, I'm sorry, what? I know what he's working on. I know what he's working on. Suborbital ramjets. That's what he's working on. And orbital ramjets.
Possible, but we didn't talk about that.
Right. Can neither confirm nor deny. That's okay.
And I didn't want to put him in a position where he might need to, or put myself in a position where I might have a problem later on.
Right. We don't need to know. I got you. Yeah, those kinds of jobs are always fun. And oh man, even tonight, they're working on stuff that could change human history, right? No, we're going nowhere near Area 51, Edgar, in the chat. You go, I'll meet you there. How about that? Right. Yeah, Lynn is saying, don't ask because we don't want the answers. No, we got plenty of answers here. That's the Muggle level of stuff. We don't work on that here. We work on the above Muggle level, which is beyond all the top secret. I wonder if they know that I've been in touch with off-worlders. I wonder if they know that. I doubt it. How could they? Unless they were spying through the remote viewing stuff, which is totally possible.
Well, you have a show.
Mm-hmm. I have a show. I invite them all to come on and like and subscribe, because you're going to be listening, Space Force.
And my friend, and two of my friends, because I have two very long-term friends. One still lives in the area, and then there was my friend from California. They both were made aware of the Quantum Show last week, so we'll see if I'm not looking at YouTube right now, but someone may show up. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't have anybody in here. I have 7 people in here, and I can't look at who's watching, but that's okay. I'm on my little monitor thing over here. I'm just watching. It says 7 people in the chat. Hopefully they show up. Welcome to all newcomers. Obligatory like and subscribe. Every show is better than the last one because we take it off planet. We take it quantum. I think that's a nice little. We take it off planet. We take it quantum. I like that. Yeah, I talked about people who work in the industry and in the field, and I zeroed in on Lou Elizondo. Are you familiar much with what he was doing?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And somebody's coming in. Hold on. Shadow. There we go. Hopefully he's got his hardware. Hey, Shadow. You back?
Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties all
Of
day
course. You know what? It's a paranormal show. We're going to have them. They don't want us talking about this stuff.
long. I don't know how the gremlin fits in this tiny little tablet, but
they're there. They're there. I think mine live in a wire somewhere.
They're not limited by 3 dimensions. You have to realize that these gremlins also exist in time as well. So they're everywhere all at once.
Oh, I brought that up over on Raven's show when I was recording it earlier. That was a trip. I put it in words like, you're not a boat going down a river and time is the river. You're in a boat. If you got to use a boat, you're tethered to a center point where all of the stuff comes from, and we're going in a big slow circle. And to go to any point in time, you don't go forward or backward. You go up the rope to the center, and you go from there. So it's not traveling through time. It is bypassing the channel that you're in, going to the source. There's that word, and picking a place. But that was Raven's show. It'll be on, I believe it's on Wednesday. Hey, Cindy. Cindy is in the chat.
Welcome to the show. Speaking of Raven, I need to find a time. Apparently Wednesdays, which is fine. To actually partake in her show. I've been so busy with so many other things, not even like fun things lately, that I haven't been able to do that. So Raven, you've got my email. Send me like a link or something, and I'll be your biggest, newest fan, so to speak.
Raven show is. Go ahead.
It's weird, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, regardless of what I'm doing, and I'm getting less and less of the cool paranormals and more of the time-sinking news crap that I'm a sucker for, apparently. So maybe I need to, I don't know, start putting stuff in the actual search bar and look stuff up on my own, so I can rewire the algorithm or something, because I just don't care. I've got to pay attention to certain things, because of my son. I've got to be prepared. I do a prepping show, but I don't need to watch 18 videos about the same news event, and yet I do.
Yeah, be careful. That's propaganda. It's going to get to you. It's trying to get in your head.
Yeah. I know.
Trying to get in your head. I was talking to Rich about this yesterday. That's the repetition, the propaganda to get into your head.
Yep.
And it's just over and over and over, and pretty soon it's brainwashing. And Cindy's saying, yes, Shadow, come down the rabbit hole with us.
Oh, I've been. That reminds me. Did anybody used to watch? I think it was like Alice in the Rabbit Hole or something like that back before the YouTube purge back in the day. I loved her channel, and then it was one of the first ones to get, yeeted off YouTube back a couple of years ago. If you guys know what I'm talking about, so many great channels disappeared.
It rings a bell, but I don't remember that one particularly.
It was typical conspiracy stuff of the day, but I dug that channel, the style, and it just disappeared. And I think I made a list anticipating that, but I just can't find the list of all the channels I was watching at the time. I should probably, while I'm spring cleaning, keep an eye out for that, because that's something I got to do. Is some serious spring cleaning. My man cave garage, literally, there's only one. There's enough room for like 5 footsteps to get to certain things, and it's just to the rafters with boxes of crap and potential crafting materials and games and books and all the other crazy hobbies of mine. I could barely get to my bug out bag. If there were an emergency, I'd be like, I guess I'm stuck here, because I got buried in an avalanche of boxes looking for it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I use my bug out bag every day, so I keep it. I mean, it's a true paranormal bug out bag. I got I got scope, camera, recorder, USB drives, extra batteries of a bunch of different kinds, first aid kit, well stocked, brand new first aid kit, and I know how to use it. And place for a water bottle. I'll put water in it when the time comes. So I use it every day. I laptop that's broken, but working on it. Yeah, I worked on it today. My laptop's still broken. I need to boot up. I've got a plan of action to go. I just need to do it. It's ready to be reformatted, reinstalled. Go ahead.
One of these days, you meet Grim and another guy I know, and anybody else who's interested. We've got to do an actual freaking an investigation of some sort. Like pick our favorite one and just go there and do the things. The reason I mentioned the 2 guys that I mentioned is because they did it. They did the things. They've got the gear. They know how to do it, and I can't think of other people I'd rather do that with. The thing is, though, I want to do one outside the United States. I've been looking into the Philippines, about a couple of locations out there, and I've always wanted to go there. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do the Area 51 thing. I don't feel like getting handcuffed or shot in pursuit of knowledge. Sorry, I'm just not
Me
ready
neither.
for that. Sorry.
Funny thing. Before I joined the Army, I made a web page using Netscape Navigator, and I put out that I wanted to put a robotic remote control airplane out there flying over Area 51 with dummy broadcasting stations and have it transmit on VHF everything that it sees. The project never happened, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. But now, why do it? Why do it now? Because I've got.
Unless you have a deep, abiding curiosity of what it's like in the backseat of an FBI or CIA, vehicle, I really cannot think of a legitimate reason to do that.
Right.
Because
that would be the outcome.
What's going to happen, and we would never see Nathan again. Or if we did, it would be a facsimile, a clone, a replicant, a Nathan bot.
Ooh, I like that idea though. I wish I had my own Nathan bot. I'd say, go to work, go to my job. You have everything. Go to my job. What?
Strictly speaking, looking at Area 51 with having your drone go in there is no legitimate reason, because it would absolutely be illegitimate to do it. Therefore, it's against the law. So you don't need a legitimate reason. You need a fully illegitimate reason that you want to go to jail for the rest of your life or be shot dead. It's your choice.
Yeah, and I've decided against that.
I prefer not to. Yeah.
Yeah, I've decided against that.
Unless you're ready to move on to the next reality. I'm gonna say no. I kind of like this thing called freedom. As little of it as I'm entitled to. I'm still kind of digging it. The breathing in and out thing. I'm kind of addicted to that as well. I mean,
Well,
I can tell you,
you know,
I
Yeah, some
And
people
Yeah.
like that.
I'm pretty sure they don't let you smoke in the Area 51 gulag. So, I mean, unless you're literally on fire, and there's not a lot of nicotine in that, from what I hear.
Well, that's
Yeah.
where that's where it comes in. Is mind if I smoke? Don't care if you burn. You know?
Yikes. Okay, I'm scared of you, man.
Lynn is saying that place is a diversion. It's being used. It's a legit place, but it is being used as a diversion. I agree. And
Absolutely.
there's
Whatever was there is long gone, decades ago, my guess. And to be
Mhm.
honest, you know, it kind of they kind of did it to themselves. You know, if there was nothing to hide, then this wouldn't be an issue. You know, they kind of outed themselves, which they don't understand. You know, with as much technological know-how and military gung ho-ness they've got under their belts, they just don't understand basic psychology. If there was nothing to hide, why all the secrecy? Well, apparently, there's not only is there something to hide, but it is so secret that it's a above top secret, which pretty much just says exactly what they don't want to say. If you catch my meaning?
yeah,
Well, no, that's the
right.
point. That's exactly the point. They make this top secret place above top secret place, and they just enough leaks out for people to know it's there, for people to suspect. They guard it heavily, but the real crap is going on somewhere else, way away, that nobody knows about, and we'll never know about.
Howdy, Raven.
Oh, okay, you're in. Raven is here. Hey, Raven.
What's up with your voice?
Oh, she's got a little
See my
green.
alien?
A little
Cool.
green.
Okay, we can. Can we
It
hear
was like you
you?
were whispering. It was like you were whispering. Like, what are you hiding?
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt. I'm hearing somebody talk.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
hold on a second.
welcome back to the show,
gotta
Raven.
take, YouTube off. Okay, hold on.
Okay, yeah, close YouTube.
Hey.
That's-
Okay, can you hear me
that's a
okay?
great way to start. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
I got YouTube closed now. Okay. Yeah, I found this shirt tonight. It's got a little alien on it, and on the back it says, "I don't belong here."
Perfect. Love it.
Can you read it?
Yeah.
It says,
I
"I
can
do
read
not
it.
belong here." I gotta buy that shirt.
Is it
man.
tie dye?
Perfect.
Yeah, it looks like
Is
it.
it tie dye?
Yeah, it's a tie dye.
That's
You
cool.
know,
Yeah.
were you
It says,
watching my show
"Alien
earlier?
in here."
Because were you watching my show earlier tonight? Because I made that quite clear. I don't belong here. I mean, I still got stuff to do, but I'm ready. I'm ready for the next level. Beat me up, whatever.
Yeah.
They won't let me leave.
No, I wasn't watching it. I did watch your eBay video though, and that was very informative about selling on eBay and the cycles of selling and buying, and that's very, very good.
It is time to buy. I've got a big, huge shopping list and an almost infinite budget. I wish, because I'm a cheap bastard. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff I'm going to be picking up. I tried buying that book on Atlantis you guys recommended a while back,
Yeah.
and someone grabbed it out from underneath me. So I'm gonna have to do a search and find that later. And by later, I mean later tonight.
Yeah. On eBay, you can get it. Yeah. I bought mine on Amazon, but I did research it on eBay and had a couple copies. But it's really popular right now. But you should be able to get a decent discounted price on it because it's older. She's got 2 more books now that came out since that one. So, hi Frank,
Hello.
how are you?
Fair to partly cloudy.
Fair to partly cloudy. I got to tell you,
That is-
your Wookiee impression last week was so funny. I played that part over and over and over. And just cracked the hell up. It was brilliant.
There's
Hilarious.
another one, another Wookiee routine, if you want to call it that I used to do years ago when I was married to my first wife. I
How
will
weird is
not
it that I
repeat
thought
it
she
on the
said
air.
bookie?
I don't bet unless I never gamble. It's either a sure thing or nothing.
Hmm.
No, I just my weird brain. You know, I don't gamble either. I do enough of that, you know, without using money to do so. Over the many years that I've, you know, been involved in stupid crap. Yeah.
Full extent of my
I don't gamble
gambling
really
right now
either.
is
Once in a
lottery
while, I'll
tickets.
get a notion.
Okay, Frank, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying the greatest extent
Sorry.
of my gambling is lottery tickets.
The scratchers.
I have bought exactly one lottery ticket. An old friend of mine. He worked at a gas station when we were teenagers, and one day, you know, we were all hanging out waiting for him to get off work, and he said, "Hey, who's feeling lucky?" And I said, "Me." He's like, "All right, give me $1." I gave him $1, and he handed me a lottery ticket. I scratched it off. I won $4, and that was the extent of my gambling history.
At least
Hi,
you won
Cindy.
something on the one ticket.
Greetings to you too.
I'm not going to say what I did with the $4, but I was at a gas station. You figured out.
Yeah, that's something I talked about on my first hour was us being used as cash cow because gas should be obsolete.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about that too, Raven. We were on your show, and oh man, that show was great. When does it air? When does your next show air? That pre-recorded one that we did.
It'll be Wednesday night at 7 Pacific, 9 Central on OneTwoRadio.com.
So for all the guys like me out there, where do we find you and when besides Wednesday, or is it only Wednesday?
I do, show on my Ravens Rabbit Holes on Wednesday night. And you go to www.12radio, the number 1, the number 2, radio.com.
And then there's a link in the page below that to find your name, Raven, and it'll show you her show. It'll start playing in an audio player.
Yeah,
okay.
You'll hear it, right? And then if you want to come into the chat room, you can.
I'm still trying to migrate you over to here on StreamYard, but it's getting difficult.
It will happen. I've just had so much going on. I got kittens coming out my ears right now.
What time?
And
what time for
7 o'clock, your Pacific time, right?
Yep.
So it'll be 7 o'clock your time on Wednesday.
PM?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate. I'm usually almost always in a show Wednesday night at that time. I'll just have to catch it after the fact. And
I can send you a copy of the replay if you want.
That would be nice.
I'll do that.
You're gonna have a whole mailing list, Raven.
Yeah. That's great, though. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, but we need to get
enough weird in my daily diet.
Say what?
I'm not getting enough weird in my daily diet.
You're not. Well, you come to the right place, my friend. I got the wooest of the woo-woo, man. Now, I had a far-out conversation with our Keith last week. That's a really good one. So if you want to listen to that one, that'll tie you over in the woo-ness until you get to hear me and Nathan show.
Yeah, we're going to have to do another part 2 follow-up because we left so many loose ends. But I basically took the Quantum Show onto the rabbit hole, and the loose ends never tie up. They always lead to somewhere else.
Yeah, they do. They do. We had 2 shows last time we did this, and then we still weren't done. We still never wrapped it up.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the rabbit hole, though, So anything goes, and you never know where we're going to end up and what detours are going to happen along the way. And I like it that way. It's very organic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also the nature of the quantum show. I mean, I never know where this is going to end up, and that I wouldn't have it
Rabbit
any
hole.
other way.
Well, I can guarantee you one place that will go. I found this out over the course of many, many, many months of in-depth investigation, going down literally every rabbit hole and every live stream I've been on. And mind you, that's been hundreds over the last year. There's this one topic. I don't know why. I've got to figure it out. But there's this one topic that we all are irresistibly drawn to. Freaking food. Why? Why? I mean, we could just watch a food channel, you know. I mean, is food porn that alluring? I mean, I'm on a diet. Can we not tease the living crap out of me?
Nathan's got an idea, a great idea for a new show. Where did I write that down at? Okay.
Oh, right.
The paranormal Shark Tank. Paranormal Shark Tank. What do you think?
I'm only vaguely familiar with the other Shark Tank. So what would this entail?
Yeah, we have to describe it. Go ahead, Raven. It's yours.
Oh, I don't know. It's your idea.
Yeah, I just popped out. I wasn't even thinking about it. Paranormal Shark Tank. We'd have to see what.
Like people.
I don't even remember.
How about this?
Paranormal people would come and pitch a show. You know, give their show ideas and for woo-woo topics and so forth. And
Okay.
you know, the weirder the better.
Mm-hmm. But Frank,
how
go
about
ahead.
this?
You were saying something.
Yeah, how about this? Here's your paranormal Shark Tank. You have a very talented medium communicating with spirits who are pitching their ideas for their specific reincarnation or resurrection.
I need more information. I'm not seeing what you're getting at.
Say you have a talented medium who is speaking with spirits, and they have to pitch how they're going to use their lives if they are brought back through a means that are provided by the Paranormal Shark Tank organization.
Okay. That is far enough out that I think it would be cool. That is far, far out there. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
Tell me why you deserve to be brought back to life. And what are you going to do with life when we give it to
And
you?
what are you going to do about it? Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
You know me, guys. One and done. I am not coming back. I am not coming back here. No way, no how.
Yeah, the last one and done, because you are not a new soul, bro. I don't
No.
know what happened, but you have been here a
You're
while.
definitely a Viking. That you can see that on you right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got something in my mind, and I'm going to keep this show real PG. You know,
Okay.
you guys, somebody told me something recently. They said they thought I was part Nephilim, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not seeing that. I
That's what
don't
you
know
call-
where. I'm
What you
like,
call-
What were they
I'm right
using
there.
as a reference for that?
I don't know. Probably this show and the things I talk about, and you know, not just this show, but I mean, I do try to, you know, talk about this sort of thing in my regular shows because, you know, it's just a big passion of mine as the sillier stuff that I do, you know, with math rocks and little tiny army men and stuff like that. But you know, this whole gigantic topic that is so diverse and you know, you could go in a million different directions and spend an entire lifetime on one little topic is,
Mhm.
you know, a big thing for me. But I was just wondering what you guys thought of that, because I'm not a bad guy.
No, no.
Well, I mean,
I
I
don't
have
see you
been,
being
but
part Nephilim.
yeah, I mean, like I mean, that's going back pretty far. Okay, I mean, I know my family tree is kind of diverse and got a little bit of everything in me now. To an extent. But
Well, are you you have some heathenistic ways?
yeah, apparently, yeah.
Okay, well there you go. That's it. This
I
was
mean,
your
I went
call.
to college like the rest of us. I mean, and then I
They were
did some other
unruly.
very questionable things that, but I'm trying to be a good boy. I'm trying to be a good dad. I'm trying. Like,
You're fine as long as you don't get over into the cannibalistic side of the Nephilim. There's a reputation they have for that.
yeah, no. I can barely.
Fall short of that, you're
I
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a carnivore, but hey, you know what? I can't lie. I have joked about cannibalism quite a bit. Should the apocalypse come, I know exactly who I'm eating first.
Well, then that would also lend to being called a Nephilim. Yeah, if you've joked like that, yeah. Okay, I can definitely see that.
Okay, all right. I never
Fair
put
enough.
2 and 2 together.
You're funny. You're so funny.
Fortunately, all you guys live like hundreds of miles away, so you guys are safe. Unless I get really hungry. But I get some really crappy neighbors, and I will not hesitate to barbecue them up, I guess.
So they are on the menu.
They're crunchy and good
What
with
did
ketchup.
Alex Jones say? I'll eat your ass. Yeah. Which brings me so much joy to hear the memes of that. Any Alex Jones fans in the audience tonight?
Any what fans?
Alex Jones.
Oh, Alex Jones. Me, I love Jones.
Yeah, I've watched him a couple times, but I'm not a regular.
Never
Yeah.
watched.
When
Sidney,
a
there's
topic
so
comes
much
up,
Shadow
There's
wants
only so
pancakes
much.
again.
What's a dang pancake?
I
Everybody
don't know.
knows. Everybody knows waffles are the superior breakfast.
No, I don't like waffles. No, pancakes, definitely pancakes.
I'm not talking the frozen crap. I'm talking right out of Denny's waffle iron, crispy.
Denny's.
Well,
There we go. The Quantum Food Show. Next up, how to properly prepare bell peppers during the apocalypse.
LA's asking, Nathan, would you post the show info for Raven? What is she talking about?
A link. I don't have. My computer's down, so I can't put a link in the chat right now.
Oh, is she wanting the link to the radio show?
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I can do that.
She wants a link to the radio.
Can't I?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can. You can. You're a mod. You can.
But-
And if you go to the.
Well, no, I can on your other show, but this one here, I don't. I can read the chat room, but I cannot post anything. There's no place
Okay,
for me.
here's what you do.
You
Open
want me
a new
to just
tab.
Type it out? I can just type it out. What you said,
Well,
I,
radio
you can do
I
it.
have nowhere to type it. There's no bar. There's nothing.
I
for me
don't.
to,
I don't know what's going on with Raven's stuff over there. I still haven't been able to get up there to visit yet.
When it's
I'm
just
just
you,
gonna type it out.
I can.
for you,
But
LA.
when we're going through StreamYard, I can't.
Right.
When it's just you, I can. But StreamYard,
Okay.
my name is not here. There's no bar for me to type in or anything.
Okay. Well, what you can do is open a new tab. Leave this one open. Open a new tab. Go to
Okay.
YouTube and go to this show, but don't hit play.
Okay.
Hit pause.
Okay.
That way, it won't stream anything but the chat,
Okay.
and you can hear us and see. Since this is all audio anyway, that's what I'm doing here. See, I've
I
got
hope
us
that
here.
helps. I typed out what
Okay.
she told me.
I'm
That's what
almost
I'm
there
going to do.
now.
Yeah, I wonder if I can get away
Well-
with playing hooky on Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's not a correct link, but that's okay. Yeah, but Raven, if
No,
you just
it's not a
open a
link,
new
but-
tab,
I mean, what happened to us that we can't just freaking type stuff out?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I literally had like hundreds of people ask me for a link, and then I'll just type out, like Discord. What's your Discord? I type it out, Shadow and Sun. Da, 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 da. And like, can you send me a link? Because what? Your fingers are broken, or you only have one finger? I mean, they can only push the link button. Dink, dink.
I know.
What happened to us? What happened to us? 100 years ago, we were making, everything out of wood on our own. If you needed a fork, you just made one. I know someone today who literally bought a spoon for $2.50.
A spoon?
I'm like, a spoon. I'm like, you bought one spoon. Yeah, dude, I didn't have one for my coffee. I'm like,
oh, wow.
How do you not have freaking
silverware? I know it. Well, on the technological front, my computers are still down. I haven't had time to really see. You need a working computer to fix a computer, and I've got one that I have access to, but time and now I'd be working on it right now, but I'm here, and that's fine. I'm totally happy with that. I worked on it a little while ago. I'm gonna have to try and rescue my data off my laptop onto my terabyte hard drive, and then reformat and reinstall. And that sucks. But what do you do? That's the technological world we live in. Until I build my crystal computer with R. Keith's help, that's what I'm limited to: silicon chips and wires and ones and zeros.
How much money do you need for one of those?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
The one he's talking about takes 6 crystals that are about $70 each. But I don't want the one he's talking about. I want a downscaled one that takes like 4 crystals that are $70 each, or maybe less.
Well, if you start a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter, let me know.
Okay. But yeah, that's a show that I'm going to be doing probably separate from the regular Saturday show, is get with R. Keith and on how to make a crystal computer. Not the big bad one.
Will it look anything like Enoch from Land of the Lost? If so, I'll take 4.
I don't know. The thing is, it doesn't use electronics. It uses quartz crystals. And it has literally no electronics. And the user interface is mental. And that just tickles the hell out of me, y'all. It really does.
Oh, dude, I that was literally my favorite part of that silly show, Land of the Lost, when Enoch would do his thing with the crystals. Dude, I was so there. I'm like, I want one of those. And if it'll open up a freaking portal, I am colored, gone, out of here. I don't care where it opens up to. I'll miss you guys.
Yeah.
I will miss you. I will try to send, carrier lizards or whatever they've got there, to send you guys, birthday greetings and stuff. But I am me and the boy. Sorry, your career in politics. No, we're going here. I don't know where here is, but that's where we are going.
Yeah, but okay. Raven has put a link in the show, a link to her show, the archive.
That's the show that was with R. Keith last Wednesday. That's that particular show.
Okay.
Yeah. Does somebody have a radio on in the background? Are you guys hearing? I can hear like some
I'm
music.
hearing it, but I'm not. I know it's not me.
It's
Frank's muted, and I don't have anything out here. My phone is turned all the way down. I'm monitored. I don't hear anything.
I know what she's talking about. I heard it. It's like somebody was having like a small party in the next room, playing, a phonograph or the radio.
Like if you're above a garage and there's a radio on in the garage below, and that kind of muffled a little bit, you can't really tell exactly what they're saying, and there's like a little bit of music and high tones, low tones, just kind of
Right.
going on.
It's not me.
It's
Okay.
probably our friendly neighborhood. You know,
Oh, is
Yeah,
it
the people
Emily?
in the van
Yeah.
outside.
Yes. Okay. Well, the rude bastards, they need to turn that shit off.
I'll be right
hey, you
back.
know what? At the very
I'll
least,
be
they
right
can
back.
hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah. Yes. At least that's the very least they can
Well,
do.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they're already subscribed. Maybe not. Maybe they're that kind of, you know, jackasses where they'll just type it in and listen in and not actually subscribe, not give them the one little click. You
Yeah.
rat bastards.
Rat bastards, indeed. Yep.
Well,
I
it
mean, we
could
gotta
also
bring
be
that
that they
term
just
back.
don't want to be associated with the kind of thought that goes on in this show. You know, some people are very closed-minded. You know, they've got a universal pucker that's so tight, you know, it's like a black hole, nothing escapes.
Oh my god, that was phenomenal. Oh, I thought rat bastard was epic. Okay, we got to bring both those terms into the lexicon, or at least back into the lexicon of modern speak, because wow,
Yeah.
universal fucker.
So what are you painting?
Rar.
Oh
The
wow.
giant.
Oh, isn't he an ugly one?
Yeah. We actually have two of these, and one of them is white. My son's supposed to be painting it, and I waited so long for him to hurry up and paint his that I got another one. I have like three more in the whatever, and I thought I would, you know, goad him into painting his, but instead he just, when he does our show, it's like he does the Dr. Evil and just sits and pets it, you know. We don't have a cat, and my dog doesn't sit still for very long unless food is involved. But it's
I can help you
classic,
out
you know.
there. I have kittens
Well,
coming out of my ears here, so I can
Yeah, I
help
mean,
you
you
out
have an
with
all
that.
white cat. You have an all white cat with blue eyes and that you know, typical stereotypical, you know, evil, familiar look to it. You know, so Jackie can, you know, shave his head and do the.
No, all mine are black. Black with blue eyes. And there's a couple
Black
orange.
cats are cool. I actually, when I was doing some shopping earlier today, I walked out of the store and there was someone with a shopping cart and a basket. And I'm like, puppies? I'm like, no, kids. I'm like, oh man, I can't do kids dead. I gotta wait till my familiar moved on to his next incarnation, or he would eat them. Or at least,
Yeah,
at least
we don't
lick
want
them to
that.
death.
No.
At least lick them to death. No, actually, what I'm really worried about, he's a sweetheart, is that he's getting old, and I could see in his little mind, oh, my replacement is here, and his feelings would just be so hurt if I did that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He's been my buddy for going on 12 years through thick and thin, and you know, if I'm gonna replace him, the least I can do is have the decency of wait until, you know, he's not here to see it. He's super jealous. I mean, the only reason he comes in here when I'm doing the shows is because he hears me talking to other people, and he's like, well, why aren't you talking to me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, sorry, buddy. Yeah, he's here right now.
Like that. Do you guys not hear that radio? You hear that, Nathan?
Yeah,
I
I hear
totally
it.
hear it. I totally hear it. It's
Now it stopped.
okay. Yeah, you.
Now it started again. Do you hear it?
Yeah, it's like what you were describing, but there's also an intermittent beep, or like, yeah, it's like it almost sounds like an old telegraph. Yeah, there's like a telegraph beep 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 beep, along with someone playing, you know, Foghat in the background or something.
Yeah, it sounds like, Foghat would be a good, or it's like right in between radio stations where it's not quite tuned in,
Well,
but it sounds like. I
Right.
don't
Well,
hear the
Shadow,
beeping.
Shadow, go ahead and hit mute on your mic. So maybe, and in the chat, Lynn, Cindy, hit mute. Okay, he's muted. Do you hear it now?
No. No, yep. Yep. I hear it. Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
It's not as strong as it was before. Yeah, why don't we switch? Shadow, why don't you unmute, and Raven, would you mute?
Shadow's back.
Here, maybe. Here.
Are you muted, Raven? Say yes, muted, or no, not muted. Or just say no, not muted. You're not muted,
You're not muted.
Raven.
Raven, could you go
You
ahead
just
and mute?
I can't hear you. I can't. I'm not good at
No.
reading lips.
She turned her volume down. Hit the. Come back, Raven.
Okay,
Come
I'm
back.
not good at reading lips. Okay.
Okay, come back. You hear? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. On the webpage, hit the microphone, and that will mute your microphone, not your sound where you can't hear.
Oh. I'm such a dumbass. Okay. Here we go. Try again.
Now you're muted. Okay. Sound check.
And it's
still there.
it's still there. Anytime someone speaks, it pops back up.
So you can hear it right now as I'm talking and staying monotone. Can you hear this?
I can't hear it when you're speaking like that. So I could hear it while I was speaking.
Yeah, Frank, I could.
It's got to be some kind of compression thing. Okay, come on. Yeah, there you go, Raven. You're back.
Okay.
It's got to be some kind of sound compression thing, and we're sharing waves with somebody else.
Yeah, the compression codec is probably a little wonky donkey.
Yeah, let me go mute and see if you can still hear it, because I can't hear it, what you're talking about. Hold on. And going mute.
No, not hearing it.
Yeah, I'm not hearing a thing.
Not hearing a thing.
So yeah, it is most likely the compression going through your device there, Nathan.
Yeah.
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 Okay, well, I'm
It's
back.
back now. It's something there on your end, Nathan.
I
Nathan,
have no
Check.
idea.
check the connection for your phones.
Okay, how about now?
So far, so good.
I don't hear it.
Did
Hear
that do it?
No, I think so.
That's it.
I have no idea. No clue whatsoever. Okay,
Yeah, I think you
Frank, how did you know to do that? How did you know to tell me that?
Uh-oh.
I'm psychotic that way.
Technomancer?
Techromancer. I bring dead technology back to life. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Technomancer. That's a good name. I like that.
I think one of my
Okay.
friends first called me
So
that
Lynn's not coming
back
up tonight.
in '90. Yeah, I'm not hearing it on anyone else. So
Okay, so it was on my end, huh?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were the culprit.
It sounds like maybe your input jack was either a little loose, just need to be turned a little bit to get a better contact.
Good thinking. Good troubleshooting. I should have known it. I should have known to try that. I checked my power, but I didn't check the other one.
Yeah.
I didn't check the headphone jack.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I heard you.
I've done this too much to not think of the little tricks and
yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Unplug it, plug it back.
This is 79, so
Yeah,
I got used to troubleshooting everything by, is it plugged in? Yes. Does it turn on? No. Is the breaker box working?
I made a meme, a Beatles song, a technical Beatles song. Is it plugged in? Yeah. Is it turned on? Yeah. Have you signed? Do you know your password?
That's good.
When I was the sound engineer, network engineer for Hazy Radio back in the early teens, there was a group, and there was another show that did, because I did tech support for everybody. So one of them did it was a, trying to remember the song it was based on. Oh yeah, Ground Control to Major Tom.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
Mhm.
but it was Tech Request to Mr. Fudge, and it's a great song, and it was performed by a couple of the people that were part of this other show, and it was actually it was very well done, and I still have it on my computer somewhere, but
Well, I would love to hear that, and I would love to put it on the Quantum Show as on my channel.
I'll see about getting it out of my drive. I'll find it and I'll ship it off to you. You can listen to it. And we also did commercials and stuff, and it's like I've got one that we did with my friend Rick Ariza. The background music is the theme from the Three Stooges,
Mhm.
and I did it in the style of Billy Mays, and we just had a load of fun with that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of music and putting music together and doing that, Dark Hour Paranormal is a musician, and he does that, and it would be a real good. I like. Rich has a show, or Rich has a part on his show that he plays of the Crop Circle song, and it's very drums and string and not harpsichord, but lute and drum heavy, right? Well, I made a request of a metal version, and Dark Hour Paranormal made a metal version. It's like just a little 1 minute thing of the Crop Circle song
Cool.
as death metal.
Our good friend James L is a bit of a musician too. When he makes himself available, we should hit him up as well.
Okay. Well, James is always welcome. And Dark Hour, he just went to Belize, and he's still doing stuff about Belize right now. And that was, oh man, I still get spun up just thinking about it. Not so much now, but
So they
yeah.
found a bunch of pyramids that have previously not been excavated, correct?
I'm not sure what they found yet. He's going through all the data now. It's going to take him a while to get it out coherently, because you can have raw data, but you got to know how to interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I remember Graham Hancock, I think it was, talking about how there's the whole dense tropical jungle is just littered with all kinds of pyramids and things that haven't been excavated. They're hard to get to, naturally, but they did one of those LiDAR scans that can penetrate through the thick, dense, trees and stuff, and they found all kinds of sites down there. So I'm excited to see what they're going to find, because I think there's going to be a lot of evidence of Atlantis in those ruins.
Oh boy, there sure will be, because that's what spun me up talking to you once, and that was my PTSD episode where I just freaked all the way out.
Yeah, and I had some dreams after that, and I had like a flashback of standing on a beach and just seeing this wall of water coming, and it was so huge. It was just like, I can't even guess how many stories high it was. It was just this wall of water coming, and I mean, there's just no point in even running.
It was all of the stories tall. It was all of the stories tall. When that crap happens, it was
just so humongous, and it was like, and there was a movie back in the 80s, and the end of it is a daughter and her father are standing on the beach, and they're seeing something similar to that. And I remember that flashback, and oh my God, I just couldn't get it out of my head for a long time, and I can still see it as plain as day.
That's weird.
Weird, just very strange. I just
When
I
when
think that
when I was a youngster, I used to surf, and I would go to Huntington Beach, and inevitably I would fall asleep on the beach, and that was a huge mistake. I never learned. I would do it every time, and that's exactly what I would dream of. Being right there, I mean, I could hear it, so obviously the brain's going to go there. But that's that's one of the reasons I stopped going to the beach. That and Jaws. Um, was because of the dreams of freaking tidal waves.
yeah. Well, it's probably a past life memory. More than likely, it
I don't know.
is. In all seriousness, but I've been looking into. I'm going to take one of these hypnosis courses, and a friend of mine turned me on to a different one than the QHHT, and they had the first like 7 lessons online for free, and I was doing those at 3 o'clock this morning. So I think I'm going to get a hypnotist license and go back to school here.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Can I
first
make a
chance I want.
recommendation? Can I make a recommendation that when you go and you go under, try to make it as vague as possible what you want to hear. You know what I mean? Don't
Don't
whatever
ask
you do,
leading
don't say
questions. You mean?
right. Don't say
Leading
I want to know about
questions.
Atlantis.
Yeah. Don't.
Just say you're curious. Did I and what was it, etc. Not like definitely just don't use the word Atlantis.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
When you were in Atlantis is a leading question. It leads into the
Gotcha.
topic. It pre-programs you to make stuff up
Yeah.
because we're really good at that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Just ask my exes.
I have to keep myself from making stuff up, trying to remember because I'm wanting to fill in the gaps because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, I have to stop doing that. I have to stop myself from doing that because it doesn't make any sense when I say it and I want to fill in to make it make sense. But that doesn't help, right? That just messes up, it muddles the communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
And if you can, you could use that experience also to, like I said, if you record it, when you go in and you use like your phone or whatever to record what she's saying while you're going under, she'll probably do the same thing, but she's probably not likely to hand you a cassette or something to say, take this with you. But then you can, take it and edit out, certain parts so you could, like I said, try to teach yourself to do it, at home. So you can keep, make your own KC files, so to speak.
Right.
And save yourself a ton of money, on car
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
Well, Raven, when you get licensed, I'll be up there like a shot.
I
when
need
you
somebody to practice on to get my certification. So
Me, I volunteer.
Okay, cool.
I volunteer.
All right, great.
I don't know, the word practice just, I don't know.
Well, you complete all the lessons, and then you have to do it a minimum of 25 times.
Mhm.
And they'll be taped and recorded that I submit, and then they'll be reviewed before they'll give me that's the level 1. You're ready to go.
Okay.
QHHT, you're ready to go after you're done with level 1. There are 3 levels that you can then
Okay.
go to.
I am very hesitant about getting a certification in this paranormal fields of study because I can give you a certification just as easy as they can and it holds just as much weight. So do the course, do whatever. However, keep in mind, it's like, how do you get certified in something paranormal? That is a matter of faith. It's a matter of,
opinion.
Right.
It's a hypnosis course. The QHHT is it's it's certifiable. It's an actual thing. It's
I hear you.
It's not just for that sort of stuff. I mean, you can use it for anything, bad dreams, health problems,
When
stop smoking, lose weight, all that kind of stuff. All that same stuff.
Yeah.
when I was younger, I actually made cassettes back in the day through the school I was going to for all sorts of things like that, and they are incredibly helpful. But one of the best things I learned was that doing it in your own voice is one of the biggest things they probably won't teach you. You know, you could make a tape for somebody, but it would be better for them to then like make their own tape and then, you know, like listen to whatever whatever you make a tape of, you know, like say, you know, quitting smoking, but then have them do it themselves, because the most likely person they are to trust is themselves. Listening
That's
to
the
your own
biggest
voice.
problem.
Mhm.
That's the
Is
big
because
problem.
you're hearing somebody else's voice try to, you know, convince you to do something, and a lot of people, the natural reaction is to rebel against that, and you know, you can have all kinds of, you know, unforeseen, you know, complications and consequences. But if you make your own tape at home, etc., you can, like I said, especially if you have multiple tape recorders or recording devices going at the same time, you'll know everything you said and everything else that went on.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, you know, creepy things that could go on, you know, during a thing like that, and you never know what someone might, you know, accidentally say or just say, you know, in good faith, but have sort of a negative reaction or you know, some sort of, you know, side effect that you weren't, you know, signing up for.
Or they want to affect your opinion on something or your attitude towards something. And that's the
Okay.
way, with just subtle phrasing, they can do that through part. Even if it's just a relaxation, the way they say things during the relaxation can cause issues later on, which is actually a horror story for another time. For me.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I used to,
Okay.
I have hypnotized people in the past, and I can tell you, if you're not careful, um, you can cause trauma and psychoses that you had not intended.
Yeah.
Again, a horror story for another occasion, probably not even live. I had a, you know, an accident, so to speak, and that messed somebody up real bad. So you've got to be very careful, and you know, if you know, it's not going to be very expensive, especially if you have like, you know, if you have an old phone, you know, it'll still do all the things except make a phone call, charge it up, and use it as a recording device. You know, as if you were making a video, but you just,
Hmm.
it's not recording any visual. It's just,
Right. Put it on Rumble. Put it on StreamYard. It'll record there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I've got a couple of recording devices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Well.
way you've got an easy device you can carry with you. Say
Right.
you're traveling
Right.
somewhere and you having trouble relaxing. You can, you know, turn on the old phone with the recording of you telling you to relax or to quit smoking or, you know, stop eating potato chips. Fat chance that I'll ever do that.
Right.
But
I'll never do that.
you
Life
can,
is not worth
you know,
living without potato chips. Okay. I love them.
Okay. Not Jeanette, but Cindy had a question. What do
Yeah.
we think they're doing on Skinwalker Ranch where they are drilling?
Yeah.
And I have
Hey,
not
Jeanette.
watched the show. Cindy, that's Cindy's question. What are they doing on Skinwalker Ranch? What are they drilling for? So I have not watched the show. Raven, you've been following it, right?
Yeah. Last year they drilled also, and they came up with metal shavings. And when they sent them to the lab to be tested, they came back. They're the same type of alloy as that NASA uses on our satellites and so forth. So what is that doing inside this mesa? Who knows? And from
Right.
the ground penetrating radar that they have done there, it's like the mesa is like sits on top of this thing, but there's some kind of a big domed thing that's metallic And then the LiDAR also showed like something that's kind of more rectangular in shape. You know how it's those little boxes, so you can't really get an idea for the shape.
It's
but more
pixelated.
elongated. Yeah, pixelated. That's the word. Yeah. Thank you. I need tech help. Terminology and yeah. Okay. Anyway, so like there's this dome thing, and then there's this long cylinder type. It reminded me of like a grain silo. There, and so they're trying to figure out what in the hell it is. I mean, it's huge. What is it doing under the ground? It seems to be, if it were a meteor impact, there'd be a crater, presumably, right? There's no
Right.
crater, and it's like the mesa's deposited on top of it. Because how in the hell did it get down there in one big piece? You know,
Well, it depends on how old it is. If it's old enough, and if we're talking like millions of years, then it could have easily, let's say it's a spaceship and it crashed, and tectonic plates moved and do their thing, and over hundreds of thousands of years, that particular area is now just a mesa because of erosion and all the other things that make mesas.
Right. Normal geological formation.
Right.
Well,
I mean, the thing is, the whole area has been known, going way back into the indigenous tribes that were there, the Ute Indians, that's their territory, have talked about these, where it gets its name Skinwalker, is this paranormal activity has been rampant in this area for as long as anybody can remember. And it could be, I'm guessing, maybe an underground base that was absolutely from the civilization prior to the Noah's flood, that was left over and now is being reoccupied by current, people. But it's from back that far, which would make sense then because of all the mud that was deposited and left from that flood that might have created the layers and helped create mesa. I don't know.
You know what also occurs to me is, sorry about the noise, guys. If I was going to bury something, I might want to bury it, in a mesa, because that would make a great landmark, so to speak, as to where to find it later on.
Oh, that's a good point.
If you were to, say you were to land on a mesa and go, well, no one's going to climb up here for hundreds of thousands of years. Let's dig a hole, bury whatever it is we're burying, and then fill it back up. And now we've got a real good marking, marker, so to speak, of where to come back
parking
and find
space.
Now
Easy to find parking space.
I think that's exactly what's happened, because there are boulders there on the sides, like they filled something in, and you don't see these boulders anywhere else around the ranch. And I noticed that last week when they brought a crane in to kind of move some of the boulders out of the way, so then they would go in and do this drilling.
So instead of going from the top down, they might have just gone in through the side, make a cave, and then cover up with some boulders, and people are just gonna not be able to move the boulders for thousands and thousands of years until they develop combustion engines and cranes, and there you go.
They found evidence of that at Brown Mountain. I think it's in
really?
North Carolina, wherever Brown Mountain is. If someone would please Google, it is North Carolina.
Yeah, it's where the lights are. Those brown
Mountains. They found evidence of a base. Brown Mountain's weird, y'all. There was some kind of something happened in the 70s, along with underground bases and the task force to get rid of alien underground bases in Brown Mountain, and they covered it up with boulders. They collapsed the inside of it to keep anybody from going in there.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about that from watching the show Hellier, the last episode of it.
And that mountain that's in Australia, that sacred red mountain that has all those boulders, and it's just like plucked up there in the middle of flatland.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call that? Urulu, something like that. It's very sacred, to the.
In Australia?
By the way, Cindy, that's coming from the show Skeptic.
Pardon me?
Cindy said, son of a gun, Shadow, great point. And I just reminded her that's coming from the Skeptic.
Mhm.
Well, that is a good point, and I really that's kind of I think you're right because
Yeah.
the boulders are not anywhere else distributed throughout that ranch. That mountain in
Tim.
that famous thing that's in Australia is the same kind of thing as this mesa. That's what it reminds me of. It's just flat land and then this big red with the black and red rocks that are just all these boulders. They call it
Mhm.
something Ulu or Uruli. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Somebody Google it. I have no computer. Somebody please Google that. And in the meantime, Tim Freestone has. I put this comment up here like 2 minutes ago. He's talking about Skinwalker Ranch. I'd like to go there with the medicine man, see if there are spirits there. Oh, there definitely are spirits there.
Oh yeah.
But what are they? Who are they trying to? What are they trying to
Who
do?
are
Do they
they?
have a goal? Right. What? Who are they? What are
Well,
they?
it's an intelligence. Something of intelligence is interacting with them because it's not, and it's messing with them. And it's kind of funny in a
Mhm.
way. I mean, it's frustrating for them, but it is. It's messing with them. Like where they're launching these rockets up. There's like a little place where the roads kind of converge, and it's a triangle, right?
Mhm.
So there's all this
What's
weird
up,
shit
Sam?
that happens right there. And so they send off this rocket, and it was fine. The second one they send off, though, hits something and freaking explodes. And you see this anomaly that forms just right before the launch. Now I see a face in it, but it's kind of smoky, it's kind of nebulous, but I see a face. I definitely see a place where there's like 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth and some ears. I don't know. That could just be me, but anyway, this anomaly.
Yeah,
shows up.
that's kind of a
Pareidolia.
Yeah, thank you.
Pareidolia.
I couldn't say that word if my life depended on it. But
Pareidolia.
Is that the thing in Australia I'm trying to think of?
No.
No. I don't know what.
That's
No, the phenomenon of seeing faces. It's an evolutionary trait. It's an
Gotcha.
evolutionary trait that we came up with as humans, looking out for threats.
Patterns.
We look for faces.
Yeah, we look for patterns.
Right.
Okay.
That's pareidolia, not the place in Australia.
Okay.
It's also an Italian pastry, but I digress.
Pareidolia with cherries, please.
Hey,
With sweet cream.
Samo Rockstar, hello.
Samo, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Welcome, everybody. Obligatory like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum.
Absolutely. I don't think I said hi to Jeanette earlier. Hi, Jeanette.
I've tried to keep up with the chat, but we reached 11 so far. A couple of people have ducked out. That's okay.
All right. So okay, I want to ask you, what do you think about with Disclosure and Skinwalker Ranch and what's really going on there? Because they got the attention of that Black Hawk helicopter that did not, that, against all FAA regulations, was not sending out a beacon or anything like that, was not showing up on the radar. And it's obviously from the Black projects. I mean, it did not come from the local Air Force base.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think that the government is in on this and allowing the producers there at the History Channel to, do this show as a form of soft disclosure or?
Okay. History Channel is mainstream Muggle TV. And if they're putting it out, it is being coached and authored to say exactly what they're saying. And nothing's going to get out what they don't want to get out. So Rich actually was on History Channel one time.
Oh, what did he say about it?
Yeah, well, they took his cuts, they took the video of him talking, chopped it up and rearranged it into something he was not even saying. They manipulated it so much.
That's not cool.
And
That's not cool.
It's typical. They chopped it up and rearranged it to say something totally what he was not saying, right? What he did that wasn't reported was he did a balloon test. He says, watch, this is how you identify a balloon. And he blew up his own balloon, set it off, and says, look at it. It appears to be changing shape because it's reflecting light differently. It was a Mylar silver, like happy birthday balloon. And it was moving around in the wind, and it was moving with the air. but they chopped it up to say, yeah, look, the actual anomaly is a balloon. Here's why. And that's not what he was saying. He was saying, here's my balloon test. Here's how you actually do it. And they took his dialogue and put it to their sighting and made it sound like he was saying the actual entity was a balloon. They took out, and it was just, oh, he was so pissed. He talks about it. I can never bring it up because he gets so mad about it, and it runs the show after that.
Yeah.
So I never talk about it. And
oh, that would make me mad too.
yeah,
See,
he was.
okay, so then that calls into question how much is edited that we're not getting to see. But, well, obviously, then the whole thing's being censored. I thought I had a glimmer of hope because of the way these Black Hawk helicopters would come in, and they would allow that footage to be shown. And then
Yeah,
they were doing. I had hope, and I had some hope with Ancient Aliens, and now I'm really kind of PO'd at the whole Ancient Aliens thing, which I was such a fan of. I mean, I was just a diehard fan. I've watched all of those episodes at least 10 times. I mean, that's all I ever watched.
What did they do? That's like one of my also favorite shows. What did they do exactly?
Ancient Aliens. They've chopped up some stuff in there. I've caught a few inconsistencies when they were talking about the Nag Hammadi and the the Lost Gospels and stuff. I caught a few things that were kind of questionable. But if they're doing that, they're doing it to everybody. So I just wonder how much of that now is.
Keep in mind something. They do have to edit for time and for content, and the people who don't actually know about the subject matter will tend to cut them in weird places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think of it, Frank?
They'll cut it the way they want it. You know.
Yeah, whatever makes a good story, whatever gets more clicks and ratings.
And the question is, how badly do you want to scare your audience?
Right.
You're right.
Because muggles can't handle this stuff.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Muggles cannot handle it. And Jeanette has been like on a paranormal binge with all of our shows. It says she's talking to Samo. I've been up since 1:10 a.m. to watch Wayne and Michelle. I don't know who those guys are. Then Nathan, then Rich. Now back to Nathan.
Awesome.
You are
Well, that is awesome, Jeanette.
Okay.
But you didn't watch my show. What's up with that?
There's only so many hours in a day, man.
My show's it's just me and a buddy just talking Roger Zelazny and stuff.
Yeah. But let me steer us back to what. Yeah, let me steer us back to what are they hiding and the purpose of these NDAs, and just a little bit. Now that we've covered, what have we covered? Skinwalker Ranch. We've covered editing of shows to fit propaganda, and we've talked about what else did we talk about? Talk about us being. Did I talk about us being the gas prices and insane capitalism and rampant capitalism?
Right.
And
you were talking about Lou Elizondo before I came on.
Lou Elizondo. Lou Elizondo was sent in. He's still on task, by the way. People were talking about. Somebody was mentioning in the chat. I'm sorry, I don't remember who. That he left and now he came back and he's trying to be a rock star again.
Oh,
and yeah, he is.
I knew from the get-go that he was a disinfo agent.
Yeah, me too.
And you know what really pisses me off too is this what's his name? The little guy from Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia. What's his name? I'll think of it in a minute. The little guy with the glasses. He admittedly was a disinfo agent for either the CIA or the FBI. Now I can't remember which one's which. They're both just crooked as hell, but
they're both still on target. They're still on task, on assignment, and on payroll.
Yeah, and and he talks now. He's like able to talk about some of this stuff supposedly, and some of the bodies they recovered in these, crashes and all this shit. Well, I know he ruined one guy's life and drove a guy to suicide. And I don't have any respect for him at all. And I just think, God, it's just really, I don't.
So
like
you have a mental block on what his name is because you don't want to give him any kind of airtime. I get you.
Maybe that's what it is. I can't believe I can't. I'll think of it here in a minute. I'm just, damn it. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Let me Google him. Hold on. Hold on.
I think Nathan and I were talking about Lou a while back. I pegged him as a,
He's a spook.
Yeah. Controlled opposition a long time ago. That guy is so fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was so fake. How they showed him in his office and all the patriotic flags and all the shit in the background, and his, like he was this all-American, tough guy that's for the people and the truth and all this shit. And it was like, oh, come on, please. It just, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have all that, and then you turn your back on it because that is your whole life.
Yeah.
I've
lied to you all my life, but now I'm telling the truth. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, there was other little clues. I think he was on Tucker and things like that, and that's exactly the kind of activities controlled opposition would be involved in. The idea that this one guy is the guy we should be listening to on mainstream TV, so to speak. He's the one guy that's going to get away with this. If he was remotely credible and on the up and up, he would have been disappeared before he got on any show on mainstream TV.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. And you know who's bringing it all to light, and he is keeping arm's length, right? Is Tim Burchett from Tennessee, Knoxville area. Tim Burchett is the one. He's saying he's not exposing facts. He's exposing the game. He's showing that there's a game, and you have to stay back in order. And he's staying back. I'm going to have to watch Rich's show because he covered Tim Burchett tonight, but he came on when I came on. So I didn't expect anybody from there to come over here. I was watching him a little bit before this, and he was about to start talking about Tim Burchett. And I would love to go talk to Tim Burchett myself. Wouldn't that be awesome? Tim Burchett interview on the Quantum Show? That would be just phenomenal.
That would be great.
And let me put the call out right now. Okay. On NDA's Cards Against Reality, to all psychics, diviners, remote viewers, find out what you can and bring it here. Bring it to me and bring it to Rich, and we will take care of it from there. Okay? Whatever you find out, remote view the moon, tarot card, the president, whatever you want to do, right? Divination is not illegal, and it's square in the middle of the Quantum Show, right? So any remote viewers, diviners, seers, bring it on. Report your findings.
Let me add something, Nathan.
Go ahead.
Remember, many people divining, as in tarot or anything else, of another individual is unethical. Without the permission of the individual that you're doing that for, it is unethical and may lead to false clues.
Right. Now, let me expand on that. You're absolutely right. Now, we're not talking about for the reasons of I want to find out who's sleeping with who or who's making so much money. I want to find out. This is ufology disclosure. Do they have tech? That's what I want to know. Do they have tech? That's why I'm saying don't put it in the public eye on a YouTube channel. Come to me, come to Rich. We know how to filter that stuff out. We don't want personal information. We don't want to know what's in their refrigerator, what their license plate number is. We don't want that stuff. We want to know, yes, they've got something underground. Yes, it's being kept from the public. And here's how you access it on the quantum levels.
Yeah,
Like
if you guys
crystal
need a
computing.
PI, if you guys need a PI, hire a PI. And if you need a PI,
Right.
ask me. I'll be glad to send you a recommendation. The whole the ethical issues. I can't really think that it would go well for you trying to use those abilities or technique when you can just do it here in the real world and actually have proof. Nothing that via divination, clairvoyant, any of that. You can't use that to convince anyone, let alone a jury. So why would you try with this stuff?
Right.
You can't get this information, potentially almost any other way. You try, using, normal technology and normal technique. You're going to be waiting for months, if not years, to get some evidence like that. Whether it be Area 51 or Dulce or whatever. You're never going to be able to do that the normal way. Stuff like this, who knows? You may just have some success, and I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, and I don't want we don't want personal information. No. I want, free energy. What are they hiding? The 20 and back program. What is that? I knew this was going to raise some eyebrows, Frank. I knew somebody was going to come on. I'm surprised Joe is not on here berating me talking about this stuff, because this is bordering the Area 51 drone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know what's on Area 51. We want to know why is our society being held down? Disclosure, ufology. We've got so many new sightings. People are coming to me with sightings. Me and Rich, we took reports when we were at the con in Florida. We didn't even mean to.
How about the recent Vegas sighting? Anything come out of that?
Not that I've heard. Go ahead and tell us more about it.
It was very similar to the Arizona lights. It could almost
Phoenix
be
lights.
attributed. Right. Sorry, the Phoenix lights. It could almost be attributed to something like flares because of the wide dispersal pattern of the lights. But it was just a couple of weeks ago over Las Vegas. Pretty clear.
I'll have to research that one.
From what I saw, the images I saw, didn't really look like flares unless they were dropping them, really close to the buildings. But it definitely was unusual. And I asked R. Keith about it like a couple of days after I first saw them. And, he doesn't watch TV or do much surfing the net. But I just happened to catch a couple of, clips of it. And it was pretty interesting. Now, as for why, the answer is really, really simple. Why they would keep this stuff from us? Our own country has a perfect history example. A foreign country paid to go find and explore a new country, and as soon as the people got to the new country, what did they say? We don't work for you anymore. We demanded our independence from the UK back in the day. We said thanks for the ships and all the money and everything to get here. Now, piss off. We're free of you. We don't owe you anything. Imagine if we were to, suddenly have a large exodus of people from Earth wanting to go to other planets. All that tax money, all that revenue, all those resources from human endeavors just gone. No more taxes, none of that. No country wants to colonize the moon because we know after 100 years of colonization, those colonists are going to go, oh, well, now we're self-sufficient. Thanks for all the, the technology. Thanks for getting us here. and we're not paying you any taxes, and we don't work for you anymore. And that's this.
Well, that's one slant on it, and I see where you're coming from. But I'm talking about. Well, I brought it up in my first hour. Water as fuel.
Mhm.
There's a way to do it. It's literally at the hardware store right now. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we using methanol? Why are we still on oil? That's my big deal. And what you're saying rounds up to not going to pay taxes, not going to be a cash cow anymore. So
Right.
we're in a walled garden of our own existence. And that also does not contradict my idea that we're in a nature preserve and that we are the dangerous animals that they don't want to get eaten by. It does not contradict that. And within our nature preserve, we're allowed to do that's called the colonial something. It's the colonial. There's a word. I'm drawing a blank. I'm starting to get tired, y'all. We're working on the end of our second hour, and there's a word for it. It's the idea of colonialism, but that is within our walled garden. If you go outside of the walled garden, there are other people out there. I already have been in contact with them, right? And I bet everyone here has seen them. Frank, I know you have. And Raven, I bet you have. Shadow, I bet you have too, but you just don't realize it. And they're there and they're picking and choosing according to, okay, I'm getting all off on the topic. But colonialism is what you're talking about. How people will branch off from their parent groups, like a government, and they will go be independent and not be used as property or equity anymore. And they want to be independent. And what is that word? Colonial what? Somebody in the chat room. Colonialism. What's that word? It's a buzzword right now in the big woke community. I can't find anybody. Nobody's saying it in chat. They're talking about falling on the floor and rolling on the floor, laughing and whatever. I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, the colonialism. That's that. But that's within our known sphere of things, not the quantum sphere. What we're looking at here. And there's other stuff involved because we are literally cash cows. Literally, we pay taxes, we do all this stuff, and I am getting an echo from somebody.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Okay,
there we go.
Imperialism is one other word for it, but there is it's like a word like propaganda, colonial doctrine. That's it. Colonial doctrine is you branch out from a parent group and you go and you basically spread out and conquer. And I'm going to put that in the chat room so I don't forget it.
Okay. I got the name of that guy now. I was looking there on Gaia. It was driving me nuts. I had to look him up. Richard Doty. He was the disinfo.
Yep.
Richard Doty.
Yep. Miracle Man from the video Miracle Man and a couple others. Yeah.
Richard Doty. Yeah, that guy.
But it's Richard Doty. Yeah. So he was.
It's a documentary on how they ruined that poor guy's life and how they were.
I'm surprised that he is showing his face in public the way that he is and being a part of that show. He's on almost every episode.
Because they know no one's going to physically hurt him, and they know that they can use him once again as, similar to Lou Elizondo. I used to be the bad guy. Now I'm giving you the truth.
Like redemption.
And some people, right? And some people will, want to believe him because he's, spreading certain types of hopeful information, but at the same time, it's more divisive and
Yeah.
utter crap.
You've seen
There's no way. Oh yeah. I've been following that guy for decades. He's a piece of crap. And
Yeah.
to think for 1 second that any government agency is going to allow any one guy to go out there and spill the beans, so to speak, is ridiculous. That guy,
he's a stooge.
right?
Show
He's
pony.
just another. He's just another source of disinformation and controlled opposition, keeping people busy, scurrying for tidbits of information when they will never release any information. There's no benefit from it until they land on the White House lawn, like in the old movies.
Yeah.
They will keep that as the ultimate of secrets of secrets until the earth literally gets swallowed up by our sun. It will never allow that information to come out definitively. That defeats everything. All of their control goes up in a puff of smoke the day that's revealed. They lose everything. Yeah. Who's going to follow them when they could just hop on a flying saucer and hopefully not end up in somebody's soup, but
the oil industry, big pharma, everything crashes. The economy is just going to be obliterated. Or what do you think of that Tim, the tactical advisor for the Black Ops, the German Black Ops? What do you think? I find him to be pretty credible, and I also find that Randy Kramer to be credible. Richard Gooding brings the whole thing of the show down. But the other so Emery, Bruce Emery, I like him.
Here's the thing: the people who have any remote truth to spill end up going the same way as Bill Schneider. If they have any truth, don't get comfortable seeing them. They will be disappeared. They will commit suicide. They will. Be discredited. Like that one guy. Who was that one guy? He did a phenomenal, disclosure video, and then like a month later, he was arrested for child porn.
Oh yeah.
Guys, let me interrupt you just a second. I hate to do this. I've got to step out for a minute. I've got a couple of dogs here that told me they need to go outside, so I'm going to be stepping away from the screen. I will still be listening, but I'm going to so there's no disruption. Okay.
No worries. And Galactic, thank you for reminding me that Meatloaf is the thing.
Nathan,
now I know
want to check this mic cord again.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, Nathan, I got to step out. I got 2 dogs here, but you might want to check your plug again because the noise is back.
Yeah, that noise.
Better.
And in fact, I'm having trouble hearing. I'm going to turn. I've got a fan on over here. I'm going to go turn the fan off. I'll be right back.
I'll be back in a few minutes. I got to take the dogs
Frank.
out.
All right, gotcha. Hey, let me clarify. I've stepped away. I had to go, little break. But I wanted to clarify. Yeah, this is where I go a little bit into the gray side of the craft and paranormal, is where we're being treated like cash cows. And it's one of them fight fire with fire situations. Right. Remote viewers and diviners talking about, are we being lied to? Well, I know we're being lied to, but what technology is being held from us? I know that will piss off all the light-siders, but that is the one area where I will go a little bit on the dark side, a little bit on the left-hand path. Because you know me, I talk about, I'm glad the noise is gone. A little bit, we're being treated like cash cows, and I don't like it. And we're the quantum show.
That's right.
We're breaking, I want to break away from that. Because the whole, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm trying to change the neighborhood. I'm not trying to establish borders. I'm trying to fix my neighbor's fence. You see, it's that different, right? But here we go. Here's something we can maybe do. Remote viewers, diviners, Look at the moon. Just look at the moon. Go ahead. Tarot cards, runes, remote view, portal mirror, scrying glass. Focus on the moon, okay? Now, I know all 9 of us are going to say that Nathan from the Quantum Show, he is nuts. I'm looking at, and lost one. Lost one in the chat. That's okay. Okay, let me.
I don't think you're nuts,
Oh, I know we don't think I'm nuts. Well,
but
to that extreme. But,
yeah.
okay, Samo is talking about it, and I'm going to put this one up there. Samo, I have to disagree with you. We are being lied to for our own good according to someone else's standards. And we don't, okay, Arcade says we don't want to wreck the economy by going to an alternate fuel source. Then do it bit by bit. And people will see, oh, wow, it's cheap to run on alternate fuel. Let's do that instead. And we will adjust in our little area, not the big area, but the little areas at a time, right? And let me go ahead and, okay. But thank you for bringing that up, Samo. And yes, we are being lied to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they're trying to, I think that they see now that it's failed, but they're trying to get the public afraid of the ETs and this whole phenomenon. Is that
you know what?
And we're going to be taken over and all this stuff. And it's like, look, if they wanted to do that, they would have did it by now. There's not
we would have already been.
I don't see it as the typical taking over. Okay, for example, the Rendlesham Forest, where the guys there or the one guy there thinks that they're time travelers from the future, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's assume for a second that that's the case, right? Some of the characteristics of the Greys could be evolutionary things that we are sort of embracing, or some people are embracing right now. Imagine that over thousands of years, transgenderism eventually leads to a species that is neither gender and gray and time travelers.
We talked about this. Yeah, Shadow, we talked about this called transhumanism.
And what if that's what they're doing by coming back into the past and manipulating society to create an end goal? Or what if they're trying to, let's assume there's other hostile aliens out there that want to change the environment to more suit their natural requirements.
Yeah, that's
okay.
what they're trying to accomplish.
There's all kinds of ways of taking over a species besides, guns and bombs and planes and tanks. There are lots of ways through propaganda and ideology and
Mind
things
control.
like that could be, getting us to stop eating the meat so that they can have it all to themselves.
Yeah.
Different things like that. There's lots of different ways,
Yeah, the meat thing, the meat thing was disinformation. I have judged that to be disinformation in order to piss people off.
Well, they've got lab meat now that they have approved. I did a story
with the immortal
on that.
cells. With the immortal cells, thank you. No. Yeah, that's how you get a zombie apocalypse, by eating immortal cells. That way, when you die, you don't die because your body is still full of immortal cells trying to continue doing what it's doing, and now it needs new meat, and guess what? Your friends are that new meat. No thanks.
Yeah.
I have not heard this.
You brought up the Rendlesham Forest, and I have 2 things I wanted to comment about that. Number one, when we were just talking about the History Channel and how this information and so forth is being manipulated, they did a story on Rendlesham Forest way back. I'm gonna guess maybe somewhere around 2013. Like I said, I've watched them all. I did have them all on a DVD or DVR player, and I wrote down some of the statistics from that retelling of that story. And one of the things that I wrote down was when they you know, the ones and zeros that he had got up in the middle of the night and he wrote all
Right.
pages and pages of that. And then they
Right.
gave it to a computer programmer and he spelled out what the message was. I wrote that message down word for word in a journal. Now, that same story retold on Ancient Aliens last year is different. It is different. And I'll tell you how it's different. When he put in those coordinates, you know how they had like 13 degrees by north by something. I don't know how that's.
Like the High Brazil, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Hyperboreans. And that was not part of the current story. So anybody
Right.
who didn't know the Rendlesham story before wouldn't know that information. And that they triangulated those coordinates, and there was way back, like before the Romans invaded England, there was a talk of these people, that these Hyperboreans, and sometimes they would come over to, and this was in Ireland, they would come over and heal the people that were sick and show them things and show them medicinal plants and kind of interact a little bit with them and kind of help them along. But then they wanted nothing more to do with them, and then they'd go back to their island and they said, you know, keep out. And they respected that and they were there. So they're talked about. I mean, that information is kind of triangulated in that there's historical evidence of them from the Irish and the English of this the Hyperboreans. They didn't talk anything about that though in the current Rendlesham Forest storytelling, which I thought was kind of weird, you know.
Probably
A little bit revisionist.
Brazil,
yeah,
probably
exactly.
because the island of High Brazil sinks and raises from the ocean from time to time, depending on certain environmental conditions. And I don't think they want, you know, it's kind of like why so many famous climate extremists actually own oceanfront property, but yet, you know, fly around on their, you know, private jets trying to, you know, keep the polar caps from melting, but own, you know, $1 million properties on the ocean. If they were worried about it, it'd probably not be the place they'd want to live. And I could see that, you know, if the conditions were right and the ocean, you know, sank, which would be the exact opposite of, you know, climate, or maybe not the exact opposite thing with climate change. But if it were to pop back up, you would not hear about it.
Right.
And that would be like verboten, you know, at the highest level, because people would go there and, you know, try, you know, exploring. And I'm sure, you know, that's never going to be allowed, which is weird because of all the expeditions, you know, on the high seas that people go. Haven't heard of one trying to get some scuba divers over off the coast of Ireland to go check out an island that's, you know, only a couple score feet below the surface. I mean, it's not like going to the bottom of the ocean. I think, you know, probably like 10 feet down, and there you are. You know, in order for it to rise, it can't be that far down below the ocean.
And there's that little island there around Massachusetts, where there's evidence of the Vikings having been there, and there was a rock that had some runes carved on it, and then the rock.
I remember that.
I think they featured that on the place where they're digging there on Oak Island. They had talked about that.
Oak Island. Okay.
And that same island it's owned by the government, and nobody's supposed to be there because it's a health hazard, because they used it to do some kind of target practice, and there's like all kinds of shells of little bombs that have not detonated yet, and you can step on one and conceivably blow yourself up. But I find that awful strange that here's an island that has all this evidence, like Eric the Red and you know, the settlement long before Christopher Columbus was there, and they use that and blow up all the evidence by using that island for their target practice and stuff. You know, there's no such.
Not surprising.
I got some cats that are just, Jesus Christ, going crazy. It's nutty around here. Yeah. So I thought that. So there was they tried to dive down. These two brothers were. The two brothers that were researching the giants, they went there and tried to scuba dive and try to find some of that stuff and not get themselves blown up, because they showed all the different, like, little mortar, little bomb.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, the unexploded ordnance.
Yes. That's yeah. And it's like there's a cover up going on with that. There's also this cover, and I don't know why. What the Kensington runestone has been authenticated, and that right there was those runes spelled out that this was a land claim by the Vikings. So, but that was so long ago. Was the government afraid they're going to have to give up half the United States to Sweden or something? I don't get why the cover up. And then,
Revisionist history. They want the colonial propaganda to win out, the colonial doctrine, and they don't want. They're not. I don't think they're worried about having to give up land to Sweden or anything because, well, that government that would have been there is long gone. The
yeah,
the
so
Vikings are
what's the
long
deal?
gone.
Yeah, and they've tried to discredit that Scott Wolter, who was the forensic geologist who did all of the work on that Kensington runestone and authenticated it. They've tried to discredit him and so forth. And I'm like, why? And the
Yeah.
other thing is Bigfoot. There's a huge amount of information about Bigfoot that the government is not telling us about.
Yeah.
And what's the deal
Oh
with that?
man. I believe it was on Coast to Coast that there was a guy on that was in the military during the Mount St. Helens eruption, right?
Mhm.
Was it Mount? And yeah, Bigfoot in Hawaii. And they had all these Bigfoot that they know they're there. They know they're there. They're like a beam to us. They're not above or below. They are a beam to us. And we're the ones that play with rocks and dirt and call it science. They're the ones doing it all on the quantum level. I really do think that the Bigfoot, they're the ones that are totally quantum. But unlike us, we have small access to it. They have large access to it. That is their existence.
There's numerous accounts of there being forestry department literature and manuals and writings and diagrams and things like that in their training handbooks describing these things from way back, 50 plus years ago, where, it was just a matter of course, yeah, you might bump into one of these and this is what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oregon? Was it Oregon or was it Montana that put out a booklet?
I forget where exactly. Bigfoot's not really my strong,
Yeah,
area
mine
of
neither.
study.
Well, why the secrecy? Why the secrecy about?
Well, that was also on Spaced Out Radio, that if there turned out to be a sentient species of something living in our woods, what would that do to our logging, our materials manufacture market?
Good point.
I did not. I'm just.
I think there's probably a couple of different reasons. That's a really good one, but I think the other one would be that there's something about the whole species that they wouldn't want us to know about. I can't, begin to, pinpoint what that would be. But can you imagine if we knew that was a case, how many people would have gone in there and just hunted them down just for sport back in the old days? Or even today.
Well, their power, their psychic powers, their powers of telepathy are so over the top strong. There's no way they could get shot. They know before you even go to the parking lot, even get out of the vehicle, that you're there. And
that has been shown. Yeah, they know you're coming.
They know you're coming. And if one does actually,
here's the thing.
That wouldn't stop them.
Here's the thing. Unless they can teleport or do something really wacky like that, that wouldn't save them. They wouldn't save them. If
they can
people
step
knew
into the other dimension. They raise and lower their frequency at will.
Right.
They can be invisible, or they have the tracks and then there's just nothing and no more tracks and no place to hide. That's how they do that. They raise their frequency.
That would be the only way they would survive.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing under the sun that would save them, because look what we did to the buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I agree with both of you because that would not, okay, them being exposed would not save them from being hunted, but they've got defense against that, but it wouldn't help for very long because humans are like roaches. We will go and we will sit and we will wait for days. The Bigfoot researchers, how I don't agree with
Mhm.
all their methods, but they go out there for weeks at a time and they get
Just
their
look at deer
information
hunters.
that way.
Look at deer
Yeah,
hunters. They will, sit in a tree in a blind for as long as it takes until they get their however many deer they're looking for that particular season.
right.
Unless they can, they would literally have to just stay there forever. The what happened to the buffalo is a perfect example. I was
Hmm.
watching a show. There would be, imagine your house, right? Imagine that a pile of buffalo hides as big as your house. Imagine how many buffaloes that would have taken to make that. Okay, those were they made thousands of mountains of buffalo hides for during that time. I mean, literally thousands of them across the land, and then they would turn them into whatever they form of
Yeah,
clothing or whatever they turned them into back then. I mean, literally millions and millions of them, and they were taken out by less than hundreds of hunters, maybe thousands of hunters, to take out millions of buffalo. If people thought, oh hey, I want a Bigfoot jacket made out of a Bigfoot,
they
there would be
would
no
They,
sit.
Bigfoot.
Yeah,
they
they
do
would
have
sit and wait, and it's sad. But Tim
it
is in
is
there saying,
more.
I grew up in the Northwest, and the tales. I think he meant tails, Tales, of Bigfoot were all over the place, but no real evidence to be had. And that's
They have a
true.
psychic ability to give us a headache. And there's been many hunters that
And
have talked about that.
right, and they also make themselves. I have experienced this in Indiana, not with Bigfoot, but it's the same thing. They make themselves less interesting, and they tell us look away, look that way, or
They have
don't look
mind
up.
control
Yeah,
element to it, yeah, and they
it's a
can also give you
suggestion.
a headache, really
Right,
bad
right. They
migraine.
can give you a headache. That's for sure. I've heard that reported a lot.
Yeah.
And
So
but all right, y'all. This is you know
yeah, to
what
this
we are
point, doggos,
beyond.
Shadow, that's just horrible. What we did to the buffalo, just the
Mhm.
lack of forethought on that is staggering. It's just it's
Yeah,
shameful. And what we
it
Yeah.
did to the
totally
Native
is.
Americans too, with
What we've done to everything, even look at the Siam, the what is that thing? It's in Australia. The striped tiger. They called it a tiger, but it's not.
Mhm.
oh
Thylacine, thylacine, thylacine. But they're being seen out there right now. Who's talking? Okay,
Tasmanian.
right,
Uh,
Tasmanian devils, but it's not the Tasmanian devil. They're still around. I think they're. I don't know much about it, but the thylacine, they were hunted to extinction because they are predators. However, they're part of the ecosystem. They really
The
are. All these
Tasmanian tiger.
predators, huh?
It's called the Tasmanian tiger.
Tasmanian
yeah,
tiger,
yeah, that's
thylacine
it.
Tasmanian tiger. Right. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. This
I mean,
um,
just think for a moment if suddenly we had the ability to go hunting outside our own, stratosphere, on other worlds where there are other creatures, the kinds of hunting we would do once we found other worlds that we could inhabit. We would
yeah,
hunt the crap out of everything and anything there, try to bring them back. God knows what that would result in. God knows
yeah.
the parasites, diseases we transfer all over the galaxy. We haven't developed the wisdom to deserve to go out there. We would
well,
go
it's
out
sad that
just
some
looking
of us
just
do.
looking for just we would go out there just looking for new things to kill and eat.
There's
Yeah.
New
only
restaurants
a
to build.
certain swath of humanity though that's like that. So maybe they should give an IQ test or a consciousness test or some type of spiritual maturity test or something before they're allowed to go out there. You know.
Well, here's the thing. Imagine, a ship goes to a new world just to, make a home, right? And they're stuck there. They're gonna, over generations, do the same thing. It's probably, no different than any other animal, trying to survive on a basic level. But if you were to drop, I think, what does it take, like 16 pairs of men and women on a new location to make a genetic viable
32 pairs. A viable genetic base. 32 pairs.
Right.
Viable genetic base.
You drop that many people on a new place, they're going to have to eat. They're not all going to just be vegetarians. Maybe you could get that to happen, but at some point you're going to get, hundreds and thousands of people. And at some point they're just going to go, hey, look, we need to eat. Look, there's this critter. We can eat it. That's going to be our food source. And you just have it all over and over and over again. I don't think that it's necessarily, an awful thing. It's just a thing. We don't blame the tiger for, what it eats. That's all it can eat. We happen to be lucky that we can eat a lot of different things. I think it's a matter of teaching everybody that there's a difference between eating and exterminating.
Yeah.
We
as this ascension rolls on, these ET races, when we ask them about, what do you eat, they are able to get to a level that they can assimilate sunlight just like our plants do in photosynthesis and draw energy from the sun and sustain as a food source. And they also use it's like a form of algae that they that they think.
Does that sound tasty to you?
Well, no, but
I got mushroom coffee. It's not very good.
But a lot of them don't have to eat, though. That's what I'm saying.
As for the sunlight, we eat for fun.
Yeah, we eat for taste. Yeah.
No, I mean, there are literally large swaths of the population that do that as an activity. That is, you know what I mean? We have cooking shows. I mean, we could, go minimalistic at any moment. That's not likely to happen. We do it for fun and entertainment. Imagine when we find new and tastier things on other planets. It's going to be a very long wait and a cold day in hell before we ever evolve to where we can subsist on pure sunlight. And I don't really think that I'm on board with that. That sounds kind of boring. And maybe I'm a primitive caveman. I like my steak. I like my burgers. And
I do too.
You tell me there's a planet out there with just waiting to give me, Flintstonian style ribs. I'm gonna be on the next
Flintstonian
with a gigantic bucket of barbecue sauce. I'm going.
As your body becomes less dense, you won't have those same cravings, though. That's the thing. As the body.
What else am I going to lose along the way? Am I going to also lose a bunch of other cravings? I don't want to be part of that existence. I like a whole lot of my cravings.
I like my chocolate cake and I like my cigarettes and I'm with you. I'm with you.
I wasn't even talking about anything like that, but yeah, those two. I usually like those after the other cravings, but that's me. I'm a guy. I just don't see it. I think that requires something from the very beginning of a species or at the tail end, through necessity of one sort or another. And at that point, they no longer become humans. There's something completely different. And that's cool. I have nothing against things wanting to evolve. But my monkey brain is nowhere near ready. Just nowhere near ready.
Right.
Well,
Okay,
Like
hey,
the pro-vaxxers and that.
Exactly.
It took them a while to figure out how to even cook their food. I mean, would you sit down and eat raw flesh? No, you
right,
wouldn't.
right.
Would I
No.
or have I?
Okay, well, maybe
I
not you, but
wouldn't.
most people, would
I
not be able to
wouldn't
sit there and
on
eat.
purpose, but it has happened.
The whole evolution thing is what
Right.
I'm
No.
trying
I mean,
to.
there are a few dishes, where you can use citrus juice and things like that, or you flip it once and you flip it again and you're done. Texas style steak.
Well,
Or prime rib. It cooked properly. It's barely cooked. But no, I think that some of us might get there to that point, which is cool because that just leaves more for me and my progeny. But I just don't think I don't think it's realistic. I think we don't have anything on here except plants that do that. I think a mobile creature is just not going to do that. Hell, even some plants require sustenance from other living entities
like
like
the Venus
bugs and things like
flytrap.
and
Yeah,
the
those
picture
things are really
plant,
cool.
things like that. I just don't think that's
Plants,
our
berries.
particular destiny. I'll hang
Yeah.
out with plant people. I'll hang out with plant people. And I promise I won't eat them when they die and turn them into a salad. If they provide interesting entertainment and conversation and benefits, I'd hang out with them all day.
Oh, speaking
Nor would I
of
kill
plant
them.
people, Shadow, have you seen that TV show called The Neighbors? They're
No.
plant-based people, and it is totally a rehash of Third Rock from the Sun, except modernized. And I love Third Rock from the Sun.
That was a
Yeah,
good show.
that was a good show.
It's called The Neighbors. The Neighbors. I forget what channel it's on. It's on Paramount or one of them, but it is totally. I was like, this is Third Rock from the Sun. I was just waiting for him to say, incoming message from the big giant head.
It sounds like a cross
We could
between
force-
Third Rock from the Sun and Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, it's
I was going to throw in a little bit of the cone
pod
heads in there
people.
too. Cone heads, man.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of Coneheads. Yeah. Yeah.
We're insurance salesmen from France.
Yeah.
Oh, Samantha's. Don't get me started on Neighbors. Samantha knows the show. And there's another show, the Good Place, that I was never able to watch, and I should watch it. I should go back and watch these shows. But anyway, y'all, we are 2:22. That's the time of the show, 2 hours 22, and we have gone away from whatever topics we had, Cards Against
I
Reality.
told you, food, man.
NDA.
Yeah,
It came back
We're-
to food, didn't it? Yes, it did.
it came back to food.
One last
Um,
thought about NDAs there, Nathan. One last thought about
What-
that.
Go ahead.
About the NDAs. NDAs are contractual obligations between a private person and a corporation. Now, since the United States government became a corporation back in the 30s or 40s, strictly speaking, your birth certificate, your passport, your ID,
Yep.
those are all forms of NDA signatures.
Hmm.
So if they really wanted to press it, they could. They're not going to because it costs a butt ton of money to do it, but they could.
And we
It
still
really
have
should
guns.
not apply outside of corporate structures, though. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of. That's a huge, massive rabbit hole when it comes to the birth certificate and the social security card, etc. I don't think we have enough time if we
Yeah.
spend
Not
a
not
month
this
of
show.
shows on that one. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Save
It's
that
one of
for
the things that just happens in our world, in our current world, our country, the way it is right now. It's something that's been set up that we simply have to work within, and around as necessary.
Yep. I agree. And oh yeah, that's a big deep can of worms that we can't go into this show. Maybe another show. And I want to get I would love to have a lawyer on. And the only lawyer I know, he won't come on. So I would love to have a lawyer on talking about this stuff. I might
Well,
find somebody.
he doesn't have to show his face or give his name. Hey, Justin, long time no see, buddy.
Yeah, hey Justin, you're coming in right at the end of it because I was about to wrap it up. We're working on 2.5 hours now, and I was about to go ahead and wrap it up because we drifted all over the place, which is totally acceptable. This is the Quantum Show.
This is the Quantum
So,
Show. No,
and
I was gonna
that's
say-
what we do here because it's all related, all of it. And okay, obligatory, like and subscribe. Go back, leave a comment, watch the replay. It'll be on YouTube and Rumble after a while. And if you're here, you're Quantum. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take it backstage, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and end the show. We're well beyond. We're good. We have taken it to the quantum. We brought up Bigfoot, ufology, secret government,
Government
all
stooges.
all of it. We brought all of that to the table tonight.
And food.
And
food.
and food. Right. I got to figure out a next week's show, but something might happen. I don't know. And I might get on again with Raven for another pre-recorded part 2 while we're still thinking about it. And I've got to get with Dark Hour Paranormal. I've got to get with Archie Andrews, and I've got to get with Rich again because I've got follow-ups to do. And Dark Hour is busy dealing with his the getting back from Belize. He's still processing all that information, and I'm hoping he writes a book. I'm hoping the group writes a book, and I'll buy the book. I'll give him $16 on Amazon. Sure, why not? $25, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping and that he comes up with some stuff that is unexplainable because I gave him a tip. Look for rock structures or things that look constructed with holes in them because that is the frame of a quantum computer using crystals. And I don't know, it just comes to me here and there. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody have a great week, rest of the weekend. And I'm sorry if I cut anybody off, but I got to go. We're going to take it backstage. Don't nobody hang up yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, Samantha saying, looking forward to hearing about Michael's trip. Michael Roser, Dark Hour Paranormal. And everybody, keep it quantum.
Keep it quantum.
Take care, everybody. Have a great
Good
week.
night.
Push it.